Yanni had never seen metal this cold. The brig floor of the alien vessel sucked heat from his skin as if it wanted to erase him. He lay on his side, wrists locked behind him by a glowing restraint strip. Every few seconds the band pulsed with a soft crackle of energy, just enough to sting. 12 hours ago, he'd been calibrating a diagnostic node on a freighter. Now he was prisoner cargo. Footsteps echoed beyond the brig door, heavy, uneven, metallic. Not human. Yanni kept his breathing steady. Panic wasted oxygen. Panic gave captors power. The door hissed open. Light flooded the cell. 2 aliens entered. The first nearly filled the doorway. Thick scaled hide, tusks curving upward from his jaw, shoulders as wide as a cargo lift. His presence radiated pressure, like a boulder deciding whether to roll downhill. Yanni recognized him, First Mate Grauwek, shortened by the crew to Grak. He stared at Yanni the way a mechanic evaluates scrap metal. The second alien stepped through the door, and everything shifted. Tall. Feline grace. Pinkish skin with darker stripes tracing her cheekbones. Long silver hair spilled over the high collar of a sleek white and charcoal captain's coat. Her tail, long, fluffy, the same fuchsia hue as her skin, flicked behind her, slow and controlled. Her eyes were violet, sharp and almost luminous. She didn't look at Yanni like scrap. She studied him like a puzzle. Captain Elira. Grak gestured toward Yanni. Human. Claims his name is Yanni. Caught in engineering. Did not resist. Elira didn't answer. She walked a slow circle around Yanni, boots silent on the deck. Every movement was intentional, calculated. He sensed she enjoyed the power imbalance. So, she finally murmured, "This is what humans look like when they're helpless." Yanni said nothing. Silence unsettled the arrogant. He'd learned that work in corporate engineering meetings. She crouched, balancing on the balls of her feet, eyes level with his. Her scent surprised him, clean static mixed with something floral, almost electric. "You have surprisingly steady eyes for someone in chains," she said. "Less exhausting than screaming." Her lips twitched. "Bold," Grak snorted. "Permission to discipline him? Humans break fast." Elira didn't respond immediately. Yanni watched her ears, triangular, furred at the tips, rotate minutely as if catching hidden frequencies. "No," she finally said. "I want him aware." Grak looked disappointed. Elira rose and stepped behind Yanni. He felt her shadow. "You were found alone," she said. "Engineering level. Hands on a console no one could access except crew." "Why?" "I was fixing a fault." "On a ship you don't own?" "It was broken." Her eyes narrowed. "That is not an explanation." "It is when the alarm lights are flashing," he said. "Fix the problem first, explain later." Grak scowled. "Answer properly." Yanni held Elira's stare. "I'm an engineer. Broken things itch." Elira turned away with a quiet laugh, the kind that sounded amused but not kind. She tapped something on the console embedded in her sleeve. "Cargo log confirms, he built the jump stabilizer prototype we found." Her gaze sharpened. "You designed something that shouldn't exist." Yanni felt his throat tighten. They didn't know what that drive could do, not fully. Elira leaned in. "Corporate hunters have been searching for that device. Whoever owns you gets paid." "I don't belong to anyone," Yanni replied. She smiled. "That's the funniest thing I've heard today." Grak crossed his arms. "Captain, let me prove he does now. One limb will." "No," Elira interrupted. "We're doing it my way." She walked toward him again, eyes narrowing. Something playful flickered on her expression, dangerously playful. "You think you have dignity here." She tilted her head. "Dignity is a luxury of the free." Then, without warning, she sat on him. Not metaphorically. Not threateningly. She planted herself on his lap as if he were a chair. Her weight pressed against his thighs. Her back leaned against his bound hands. Her tail draped lazily across his abdomen like a fluffy banner of victory. Grak barked out a laugh. Captain, what are you doing? Establishing hierarchy. She flicked her tail for emphasis. He's furniture. Yanni's body reacted, not with embarrassment, not with arousal, but with catastrophic instinct. His pulse spiked. Breathing steadied. Muscles locked. His brain triggered something ancient, buried deep under human evolution, older than fear. A survival override. A sensation slammed through him, hot and electric. Not adrenaline, something more primal. The brig lights flickered overhead. Alyra froze. What was that? Grak straightened, instincts alert. Yanni couldn't form words. A pulse rippled outward from his skin, microscopic, chemical, invisible, but powerful enough to register on the ship's internal sensors. A hollow screen near the door lit up. Biological event detected. Unidentified bond signal, active. Alyra shifted, trying to stand. She couldn't. Her muscles refused commands. Her breath caught in her throat. I can't move. Grak stepped forward. Captain? She swallowed hard. Something's wrong. My biofeedback is. Her tail fluffed out in full alarm. Yanni felt his heartbeat steady further, like a metronome sinking to hers. It wasn't attraction. It was claiming. The override protocol, one humans never documented because it had never activated like this before, latched onto the closest biological nervous network. Alyra's. Her pupils expanded into wide amethyst discs. She pressed a hand to her chest as if trying to force her heart to behave. What did you do to me? She whispered. Yanni shook his head. You touched me. You activated an imprint. I don't know what that means. Grak did. His voice dropped to a hiss. An imprint is irreversible. Permanent. Blood-bound. Alyra's breath hitched. Impossible. Humans don't have imprint biology. You sat on me, Yanni said flatly. Her jaw clenched. As a demonstration. And now? He asked. She rose abruptly, the movement jerky, unnatural, fighting her own instinct to stay close. The restraint sensor near the ceiling flashed red again. Imprint status, locking. Alyra stumbled backward until her spine struck the wall. Her voice came out raw. No. This can't happen. Not with a human. What is imprinting? Yanni asked. Alyra looked right at him, no bravado left. Only truth. My species links through direct contact. We sync to the dominant nervous system. She swallowed. It's permanent. If the bond completes, we share instinct, emotion, and pain. Yanni went still. So if I get hurt, I feel it, she whispered. If you die, I die. Grak recoiled, horrified. Captain, we can still cut the connection. No. Alyra's voice cracked. Severing it destroys both nervous systems. The brig lights dimmed again. The screen updated. Imprint complete, bond active. Subjects, human plus K-30 captain. Alyra stared at Yanni, breath uneven. You didn't just ruin my authority, she whispered. You ruined my future. Yanni met her gaze. You shouldn't have sat on me. Her ears flattened. Her tail lashed once, sharp, agitated, humiliated. For the first time, the captain who controlled everyone had lost control. Alyra walked fast. Too fast for someone pretending not to panic. Yanni kept pace only because the bond forced their bodies to match each other's rhythm. If he hesitated, a pressure twisted somewhere behind his ribcage, a warning sensation telling him he was drifting too far. He didn't need an explanation. He felt her nerves spiking like static across his spine. The corridor outside the brig was dim, lit by red strips running along the ceiling. Crew members parted as they passed, whispering. Some stared openly. A few stepped back as if avoiding contamination. Look how close she stays to him, someone whispered. He marked her, another murmured. Alyra's voice snapped like a whip. Silence. No one spoke again. Grak marched ahead, pushing through doors with unnecessary force. His tusks flexed with every step. He hated what had happened, hated that Elira wasn't giving the order to kill Yanni. Yanni tested his voice. I didn't choose this. You triggered it, she shot back. You sat on me. Grak growled. Human. Quiet, Elira snapped at him. Then to Yanni, quieter. Humans aren't supposed to imprint. Your species was biologically screened centuries ago. No imprint pheromone markers. No neural adaptation. You're supposed to be a zero-interference species. Yanni shrugged as best he could with his wrists still bound. I'm full of surprises. She whirled to face him. The bond tugged her forward before she finished turning, as if her body refused to distance itself. Don't joke, she hissed. You don't understand what's at stake. He held her gaze. Then explain. A muscle in her jaw tensed. She flicked her eyes toward Grak, then toward a crew member lingering too close. Yanni suddenly felt a tremor through the bond, an emotional flash not his own. Fear. Not of Yanni. Of her crew. Elira resumed walking. We talk in private. The captain's quarters. Her doors sealed behind them with a heavy metallic snap. The room was nothing like the brig. Holographic star charts floated above a desk. A recessed platform covered in silks and fur indicated where she slept, or lounged like royalty. Elira stood near the center, arms crossed, trying to appear composed. Her tail betrayed her, twitching in short, irritated sweeps. Grak remained near the door, arms folded, watching Yanni like a predator waiting for weakness. Yanni took in the room, then lifted his bound wrists. Are you ever going to take these off? No, Grak said. Yes, Elira said at the same time. Grak turned stunned. Captain. If he remains bound, the strain affects me. She rubbed her temple, frustration leaking through. If the imprint pathway fully stabilizes and he's hurt, my nervous system mirrors it. Yanni blinked. So if someone hits me, I feel the pain, she snapped. Not metaphorically. Literally. Grak's nostrils flared. That is unacceptable. Elira kept her gaze on Yanni. It's biology. Acceptable or not, we're linked. Grak stepped forward, rage simmering. Then unlink. Cut the connection. If the bond is severed, Elira said, voice tightening, our brains shut down. Both men froze. Yanni swallowed. That's good motivation to keep me alive. Grak spat. It is motivation to drag you to the medbay and have the surgeon figure out where your neural core sits so I can. Enough, Elira commanded. The bond flared, sharp, immediate. Yanni didn't hear her pulse, he felt it. Her anger hit him as a wave. Elira forced her breathing slow. The bond is neurological. The more emotional stress, the stronger the feedback becomes. Everyone calm down before we make it worse. Grak glared at Yanni. You. Sit. On the floor. Yanni raised an eyebrow. Do I look like a dog to you? Elira cut in, voice flat. Humans sit in chairs. Then she walked to the wall and opened a compartment. Inside hung a weapon, her sidearm, sleek silver plating with glowing runes along the frame. She held it for a long second, then slid it into her holster. Yanni watched her hands shake once before she stilled them. Elira, he said quietly. Tell me what imprinting actually means. She exhaled slowly, staring at nothing. My species, Kuthuri, does not choose mates emotionally. We don't date. We don't court. We imprint. Our biology decides. She turned toward Yanni, eyes sharp. We imprint once. For life. The room felt suddenly smaller. Grak spoke through clenched teeth. And she imprinted on a human. Elira ignored him. She pointed to the corner wall where a monitor flickered. A medical diagram appeared, two nervous systems overlaid, threads linking them. The imprint forms a communication channel. Not thoughts, instinct. Autonomic responses. Biological priority. That sounds like a neural tether, Yanni muttered. It is, she said. If you're in danger, my instincts drive me to protect you. If I'm harmed, you feel it. Yanni stared. That's not ownership. That's entanglement. Alira's tail lashed. Call it whatever you want. My crew sees it as contamination. She approached him, stopping inches away. The proximity eased that twisting sensation in his chest, like an invisible cord slackened. Understand this, she said tightly. Imprinting overrides political power. It overrides rank. They think you own me. Yanni frowned. I don't want to own anyone. She held his stare. Want has nothing to do with it. Silence filled the room, heavy as gravity. Finally, Alira gestured to Grak. Remove the restraints. Grak hesitated. Captain. Do it. With a frustrated snarl, Grak sliced the energy band. It fell in 2 pieces to the floor. Yanni flexed his hands, blood rushing back to his fingers. As soon as movement returned, the bond eased its pressure further. Alira seemed to feel it too, her shoulders dropped, breath steadying. She didn't thank him. But she didn't have to. The bond transmitted the feeling anyway. The crew knows. A sharp beep came from Alira's wrist console. Bridge alert. Crew activity spike, Deck 6. Unauthorized access, calm channel. Alira checked the data, eyes narrowing. Someone is transmitting. Grak moved instantly. Vesker. Quartermaster Vesk. Alira corrected. He's opportunistic. Her jaw tightened. He'll use this against me. What would he gain? Yanni asked. Grak answered. Mutiny. A captain bound to prey is seen as unfit to lead. Alira didn't deny it. The monitor updated. Restricted channel broadcast. Live feed, crew hall. The screen flashed. Crew members gathered, whispering. If imprinting binds her to him, she's compromised. We need a new captain. Vest says there's a buyer offering triple if we deliver both. Yanni felt a sinking weight. You said I was cargo. Alira turned toward him. You were. And now? Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. Now you're leverage. Grak didn't wait for permission. I will eliminate the traitors. No, Alira said. They're scared. Fear feeds rebellion. We need control, not bodies. Yanni stepped forward cautiously. I can help. Grak laughed, deep, contemptuous. Help? You can't fight. No, Yanni said. But I can think. Alira studied him again, really looked at him, not as a prisoner, not as a malfunction, but as an unknown variable. The bond tugged between them, steady, present. She exhaled, a slow concession. You will not leave my side. He held her gaze. We stay alive together. Alira nodded once, a new steel settling in her voice. Then we stop a mutiny.